Good morning, sir. Those are the topics to be done today. One ethnographic profile we'll be trying to do today. Regarding that, the basic video is already provided to you in the Dropbox about the Chenchus. That's a long one. I think it runs into about 35-40 minutes or so. That is a tribe that is very close to my heart because I stayed there for a long time. Somebody was asking actually to give a compilation of different tribal songs and with the proper music kind of. So I was trying to do that. Maybe we can all have those CDs, no? So along with the course material, I thought from the next batch onwards I'll distribute them. Especially those of you who have already watched, very fine, but for others, this was the video that I was, a proper movie of course. But, by the way, happy birthday, Megastar. Can't miss those occasions. And this is only to play that song for you.
Located in the Nallamala hills of Andhra Pradesh is the Nagarjuna Tiger Reserve. The Tiger Reserve spans over 3,600 square kilometers. This lush green forest is home to many flora and fauna. Living in this forest for many centuries now is a self-sufficient tribal community called the Chenchus. The Chenchus are a Telugu-speaking, food-gathering tribe living in perfect harmony with nature, surviving entirely only on what is available in the forest, whether it is fruits, vegetables or animals, never taking more than what is needed for their survival. They are a very simple and humble tribe coexisting with nature. This can be seen by an interview of a village elder known as Pedda Manshi, telling us about the different kinds of Chenchus.
అంటే మనకి ఏ చించులని
దేవశించులు అంటారు.
ఎందుకు వచ్చింది దేవచించులు?
అడవిలో ఉండరు.
అడవిలో ఉంటే దేవచించులు, ఊర్లో అంటే
ఊరు చించులు.
Their primary source of livelihood comes from collecting honey and other forest products.
మా తాతగారు ఉన్నప్పటి నుంచి సార్ వాళ్ళ అప్పుడు ఏది లేకుండా లేకుండా ఉన్నప్పటి నుంచి అడవికి పోయేది, తేనె తెచ్చుకునేది, గడ్డలు దోగుతారు, కానుక పలుకు తీస్తారు, పురకలకు పోతారు, ప్రతి ఒక్కది తెచ్చి గిరిజన టోర్లు అమ్ముతారు. ఇట్లా చేస్తే మంచిగా బతాం అన్నట్టుగా మేము మా నాన్నగారు కూడా మాకు కూడా నేర్పించారు.
మేము కొంతమంది చేపలు ఒక 4-5 చేపలు పడతారు సార్. కొంతమంది ఇంకా కొన్ని పొలాలు ఉన్నాయి, ఫారెస్ట్ పొలాలే ఉన్నాయి, పట్టా భూములే కావు. అంగన్వాడి బడి ఉంది, అంగన్వాడి టీచర్గా నేనే చేస్తున్నా.
But the increasing interest in wildlife conservation, climate change, depletion of forest and other communities has influenced the Chenchus, and they have adapted in order to survive.
అసలు ఆ అడవి లేదు, ఆ జీవధనము లేదు, ఆ కాయ కరువు లేదు, ఆ తేనెటీగలు లేవు. అడవి ఎప్పుడైతే చనిపోయిందో ఆ జీవరాశి కూడా చనిపోయింది.
ఇంకా మా తాత ముత్తాతలు కలిసి చెప్పాలంటే సార్ వాళ్ళు చాలా కష్టపడ్డారు సార్. ఇప్పుడు ఐటీడీ కొంచెం ఉండబట్టి లోన్లు ఇవ్వటం అది ఇవ్వటం వల్ల కొంతమంది మేకలు కొనేవో లేకపోతే ఏదో ఇంకా జీవనోపాధి. అంతకుముందు జీవనోపాధి అయితే సార్ తేనె తీయటం, గోందు తీయటం, తర్వాత అట్లా అడవిలో కట్టె కొట్టడం, అంటే తలుపు ఉంటాయి కదా సార్, తలుపు దర్వాజాలు చేయటం, వాటిని సేకరించి అవి ఏం చేస్తారు జీసీస్కి అమ్ముతారు. అది మనకు జరిగే పద్ధతి. ఇంకా మామూలు షికారి అంటే అడవి మీద ఆధారపడి ఉంటారు కదా సార్, అట్లా. ఇంకా అదే విధంగా అయితే ఇప్పటి నుంచి అదే చేస్తున్నారు సార్. ప్రస్తుతానికి మా లెక్క చదువుకున్న మటుకు దేవుడు కొని ఉండటం, లేకపోతే చదువుకొని ఆపేయటము మధ్యలో వరకు ఆర్థిక ఇబ్బందుల వల్ల.
Change is constant in all aspects of life, whether it is through influence or just by the passage of time. The Chenchus are no different. This can be seen through a simple example of their process of collecting honey.
మేము చిన్న పిల్లల కానించి వాళ్ళు ఏమని చెప్పారంటే, ఇప్పుడు దరి ఉందా తాడుందా, ఆ తాడుకు ఒక కెట్ట కట్టుకుంటాం. కెట్ట కట్టుకొని దాన్ని ఒక చూడ ఒకటి గంత పొలం ఆకు ఒకటి కట్టుకుంటాం సారు. కట్టుకొని వేస్తాం, పొగ లేపి వేస్తాం. తేనెకి వేసేది ఆ దరి దిగి ఆ దరి మీద ఉండి తీస్తాం సారు. వాళ్ళ గట్ట నేర్పిపోయారు మా పెద్దలు మాకు. అటు నేర్పిపోతే ఇప్పుడు అది తీసి ఇప్పుడు అట్లా బతుకుతున్నాం మేము. ఇప్పుడు కుక్కల్ని వేసుకొని అడవి పట్టుకొని బాగా పోతాం. అడవి ఏదైనా దొరికితేనేమో దాన్ని అమ్ముకుంటేనేమో బువ్వ, లేకపోతే లేదు. గంతే.
3 పద్ధతులేమో ఎవరిది వాళ్ళే. ఇప్పుడు ఈడ కానీ వచ్చింది, ఈయన దెబ్బ సుడే కట్టుకోవాలి, దెబ్బనెక్కాలి, తీసుకోవాలి, వెళ్ళిపోవాలి, అంతే. ఇప్పుడు ఈ డ్రెస్సులు వచ్చిన తర్వాత అందరూ ఒక 5 మంది 6 మంది ఇట్లా కుమ్మక్కయి ఏమన్నా ఎక్కడానికి కానీ దిగడానికి కానీ ఇబ్బంది అవుతుంది అన్నట్టు అందరం కలిసి తీసుకుంటున్నాం అన్నట్టు.
ఏం సరిపోతుంది సార్, మా పూట మా తిండి వరకే సరిపోతుంది.
Over the decades, the influence of other communities on the Chenchus has been tremendous due to the fading of their geographical borders. The changes can be seen in various aspects of their lives like clothing, occupation, religion, and customs.
మీ మమ్మల్ని సేకదా మా ఎక్కువ మాకు ఇష్టం. అప్పుడు ఆ జమాన గడ్డలు తెచ్చుకుంటే తలా 2 ఇస్తాం. ఆ అమ్మకి తల్లికి మిగిలిన పోయేది. ఆ సంపాదించి సేకిందే మా ఎక్కువ గొప్ప అప్పుడు జమాన. ఇప్పుడు బంగారం చదువుకునే వాళ్ళు బంగారం, ఏంటి సొమ్ములు సంబంధం, ఇంకా చదువులు బాగా చదువుకోవాలా, పెద్ద ఉద్యోగం చేయాలి, మీకు ఆశలు చేస్తే. అప్పుడు మాకు ఆశలు ఎక్కడే.
ఇప్పుడు ఉన్న వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారు, కొద్దిగా స్టైల్ పట్టుకుంటూ పోతారు అనమాట. ఇంకా వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారంటే వాళ్ళు స్టైల్గా పాయింట్ వేసుకొని తిరగలాడతారు. మేము అడ్డ మంచిగా కట్టుకుంటాం. కాకపోతే అడవిలో పోతే గోసి పెట్టుకుంటాం, గోసి పెట్టుకుని పోయి ఒక చెట్టు ఎక్కుతాం, తేనె తెచ్చుకుంటాం.
ఈ జాకెట్లు అని ఇల్లంగాలు అని మాకు తెలియదు సార్. కొత్తగా వస్తుంటారు కదా, వాళ్ళని చూసి మేము నేర్చుకున్నాం తప్ప మా పాత పద్ధతి ఇట్లా కాదు సార్. మా చీర కట్టదు ఇంకొక రకం కడతాం మేము. వెనక నుంచి వస్తుంది మాకు ముందలపేట, అట్లా కడతాం సార్.
మాకు కొంచెం మారింది సార్. అప్పుడు గోతులు పెట్టుకునేది మొత్తం మేము. ఇప్పుడు కాస్త నా కారు కానించి అందరు లింగీలు లాగులు కొడుకు పిల్లలు నేను చదువుకుంటారు.
మనం పాడు చేసుకున్నామనే బాధ ఇప్పుడు మాకుంది చదవడానికి. మా పిల్లలు ఉన్నారు కదా, మనం అంటే ఇట్లా అయినా కానీ పిల్లలన్నీ చదువుతామని చెప్పి పిల్లల బళ్ళకి తోలుతున్నాం, చదువుకోమని చెప్తున్నాం.
ఇప్పుడు జరిగింది ఏం జరిగిందంటే పిల్లగాని పిలిపించి ఇష్టపడి ఇద్దరికి ఇష్టమైతే పెళ్ళి, లేకపోతే పెళ్ళి కాదనమాట. ఇప్పుడు వెనకటంటే ఇంకా సొమ్ము మడగచ్చు. ఇప్పుడు మటుకు కాళ్ళ పట్టీలు పిల్లలకి, ఆడపిల్లకి, మరియు చెవులకు జోడు, ముక్కు బేసాలు అడుగుతారు. ఇప్పుడు వెనకట అవన్నీ లేవు సార్. వాళ్ళకి ఒకటే తాళి కూడా లేకుండా పసుపు గుమ్మ కట్టి పెళ్లి చేసుకునేవాళ్ళు.
మా బిడ్డలకు ఒక బిడ్డకి ఇచ్చినాం, చిన్న ఆయనకు. మొన్న ఉగాది అప్పుడు పిండి అయింది. 20,000 ఇచ్చినాం. ఈయన తండ్రి, ఈయన తాత, మా తాత అన్నదమ్ములు. అయితే మేనమామ కొడుకుని తెచ్చి మా తాత ఇద్దరిని పెళ్లి చేసిండు. చిన్నగా ఉన్నప్పుడు తెచ్చి 7 ఏళ్ళకి ఆయన దొరికొచ్చి పెళ్లి చేసి కట్నంలో ఏం లేదు.
మేము పిల్లలప్పుడు మేము పెళ్ళిళ్ళు చేసుకుంటే మాకే కట్నాలు లేకున్నాయి సార్, ఏది లేదు మాకు. ఇప్పుడు ఎవరన్నా ఇప్పుడు కూడా కట్నాలే లేవు, ఇప్పుడు అడుగుతుండరు.
వెనకటి పద్ధతిలోనే ఉన్నాయి. ఏదో ఒకరిద్దరు ఏదో చిన్న పిల్లకాయలు ఏదో ఏడ్చాము మతమని ఆ ఏడ్చాములోకి పోయారు. అంతేగాని ఒకరిద్దరికి తప్ప మనకి వేరే మతాలు ఏమి ఉండవు. మనం ఎక్కువ కొలిసేది రాముల వారే, ఎక్కువ కొలిసేది భయాన్నే. ఈ రెంటిని మాత్రం ఆదమరమం, అది మాత్రం దేవుడు దిగొచ్చినా కూడా ఆదమరమం. మళ్ళీ మాట్లాడితే ఎక్కువ కొలిసేది నరసింహస్వామిని.
With the changing times, the household responsibilities have changed as well. Many women have taken up to be the breadwinners of the family, as most of the men live extravagant lives.
మా ఇంట్లో మా ఆయన తాగుతాడు, మస్తు తాగుడు ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది. అల్లుడు తాగుతామే, మా ఆయన తాగుతామే. అలాంటప్పుడు నేనేం వాళ్ళకి ఇంకా చేసి పెడతా. ఇంకా కొన్ని చేసిన పనికి 30 రూపాయలు పని చేస్తే 30 రూపాయలు అలాగే అవుతాయి. నెలకు నాకు 750 జీతం వస్తుంది. ఆ ఎట్టిపోతే నాకు తెలియదు. భర్త బిట్టలేదు, అల్లుడు బిట్టలేదు. అల్లుడు నా ద్వారానే, భర్త నా ద్వారానే. అసలు కుటుంబాన్ని మొత్తం నేనే పోషించాలి.
రోజు ఇంత కష్టం చేసుకుంటే ఒక 100 రూపాయలు దొరికితే సరాయికేనాయ్. బియ్యం లేవు ఇండ్లల్లో. మా ఇంటి ముసలి పైసలు వస్తే మేము తెచ్చుకుంటున్నాం, ఇప్పుడు తెచ్చుకొని తింటున్నాం. వాళ్ళకి ఆయంత లేదు.
సారాయికి బానిసలు అయ్యి ఒకటి, దాని ద్వారా మేము చాలా ఇబ్బందులు పడ్డాం.
నా ఇంట్లో అన్ని తెచ్చి పెడతా, ఏం తక్కువలేదు. నాకు ఇంటికి వచ్చి సుఖం ఉండాల. సుఖం అంటే ఏంటి? ఇంటికి వస్తే మంచి మర్యాద ఉండాలి. నువ్వు నాకు గిలిగిల్ల అంటే నాకు కుదరదు. అప్పుడు మంచి కోపేసింది. ఇంకా
Over the years, the government and many non-government organizations have helped the Chenchus progress.
రకరకాలైన పథకాలు ఆలోచిస్తున్నారు ప్రభుత్వ పరంగాను. అది వాళ్ళకి సమ్మతమో కాదో ముందు తెలుసుకోవాలి. వాళ్ళతో ముఖ్యంగా పనిచేసిన రీసెర్చర్స్తో వాళ్ళు సంభాషించాలి. వాళ్ళ పిఆర్ఏ టెక్నిక్స్ ద్వారా వాళ్ళు ఏమనుకుంటున్నారు, ఎలాంటి రకమైన అభివృద్ధిని అభిలషిస్తున్నారు అది తెలుసుకోగలగాలి. ఒక్క రోజులో వాళ్ళు చెప్పరు. చాలా షై పీపుల్ వాళ్ళంతా కూడాను. వాళ్ళు ఏదో బాబు మాకు తెలియదు, మీరే ఏదో చేయండి అంటుంటారు. అలా కాదు, వాళ్ళని ఎక్కువ మాట్లాడించాలి. అలా మాట్లాడిస్తున్నప్పుడు వాళ్ళ మాటల్లో వాళ్ళకి ఏం కావాలని తెలుస్తుంది తప్ప ప్రశ్న జవాబు రూపంలో అడిగితే మాత్రం ఎట్టి పరిస్థితుల్లో కూడా వాళ్ళకి సరైన సమాధానం లభించదు.
But like all humans, the Chenchus too have needs. These needs, as simple as they might seem, may go a long way to help them adapt and move forward with the changing times.
సంతోషంగా ఉండాలంటే సారు 5 ఎకరాల భూమిలో ఒక బోరు పడాలి. వాళ్ళ ఇవి వేస్తే ఒక కరెంట్ వస్తే అండ్ నీళ్ళు ఉంటే దాన్ని వేసుకొని పాలకు బోలుకి ఇచ్చి నాకు సంతోషంగా ఈ పెద్ద పాన కూర్చొని కొద్దిగా హాయిగా బతుకు.
ఏం కావాలంటే ఇండ్లు మంచి ఇల్లు కట్టుకోవాలి, మంచిగా పిల్లలు చదువుకోవాలి. చదువు ఉంటే కొంచెం ఏదో చిన్న ఉద్యోగం వస్తే మంచిగా బతకాలి అని ఆశలు ఉంటాయి.
మా పరిస్థితులు బాగలేవు. ఇక్కడ ఏట్లో మనం తానం చేయాలన్నా ఏట్లోకే పోవాలి, మనము బట్టలు ఉతుక్కోవాలన్నా ఏట్లోకే పోవాలి. ఇక్కడ గవర్నమెంట్ ఒక పెద్ద ట్యాంక్ కట్టి ఒక విశాలంగా బోరేసే ట్యాంక్కి నీళ్ళు పెడితే మనకి అన్ని వసతులు ఉండు.
ఒక ఇల్లు ఉండాలా, ఒక సేను ఉండాలా, ఒక బోరు ఉండాలా, ఎద్దులు ఉండాలా. అవి ఉంటే మా కాడ అందరూ వ్యవసాయం చేసేవాళ్ళే సార్. బాగానే వ్యవసాయం చేస్తారులే, కానీ ఇవన్నీ అందుబాటు ఉన్నా లేకపోయినా ఇంత మనం ఒక బోరు వేయించుకోవాలంటే 1 లక్ష రూపాయలు అయితే, ఒక 50,000 అయితే ఈ ఏడు నుంచి వస్తాయి. మనకు వెనకట మన తాతలు తండ్రులు సంపాదించిన ఆస్తి లేదు కాబట్టి మనకి ఇప్పుడు మనం చేసేది మన పిల్లలు 4 పిల్లలు, మన పిల్లలు పోషించి మనం చేసుకునేందుకు సరిపోతుంది.
సార్ నాకు టీచర్ జాబ్ వచ్చి మన చెంచూస్కి టీచర్గా చేసుకుంటూ వాళ్ళని డెవలప్ చేసుకుంటా వాళ్ళ దగ్గరనే ఉండి వాళ్ళ మట్టి ఉండి చేసుకుంటుంటే అదే సంతోషం ఉంటుంది సార్.
మాకు గవర్నమెంట్ చేయించాం సార్. గవర్నమెంట్ చేయించి మాకు మంచి ఇచ్చారు, కానీ ఎద్దులు అవి అయితే మేము మంచిగా వాళ్ళు ఆసాన్ని ఎట్ట బతికిన అట్ట బతాం. అప్పుడు మా నాయనోళ్ళు తాగి గుద్దబాలు తాగి రోడ్ల మీద పడి కూడా ఆ రోడ్ల మీద పడినారు. ఇప్పుడు మాకు తెలుగు వచ్చింది, మేము ఆ బతకాలంటే మాకు అవి కావాలి.
మెయిన్ విద్య కావాలి సార్. మా వాళ్ళకి విద్య కావాలంటే ఇక్కడ నుంచి పిల్లల్ని బయటికి పంపించేది నేర్పియాలి ముందు. వాళ్ళని ముందు ఇక్కడ అలవాట్లకు ఉపయోగపడకుండా స్కూళ్ళకి పంపించి అక్కడ అలవాట్లకు ఉపయోగపడేటట్టు నేర్చుకునేది ఒకటి నేర్పించాలి. తల్లిదండ్రుల బాధ్యత అది. మరి రెండోది ఏంటంటే తల్లిదండ్రులు బాగుపడాలంటే వ్యవసాయానికి వీళ్ళకి వ్యవసాయ భూములు ఇప్పియాలా. ఎద్దులు ఒకటి ఉంటే వీళ్ళు వ్యవసాయం చేసుకుని బతకగలుగుతారు సార్. ఎక్కడైనా సెన్సులు.
What were the other profiles you had done earlier? One was Toda and Jarawa. Or that's all? Pardon me? Samba. Okay. But I think not a full-fledged tribal profile as such. This combining both the videos, you can prepare a ethnograph profile. This can be seen as one of the primitive tribal groups, though that is in the very close proximity with the mainstream population. For a long time they have remained untouched by the modernization or the kind of latest developments. It is in this context I want to give you some additional work. I'll anyway be placing certain documents in the Dropbox. What I want you to do during this week is study about primitive tribal groups, PTGs. The questions can be like define primitive tribal groups, comment on their distribution, and governmental programs for their development. Defining primitive groups, their distribution, developmental programs. So slowly you will come into the tribal mold. Today we are largely focusing on this topic of social change. Of course, the concepts such as westernization, Sanskritization, they also dealt with social change. Here in this particular context of tribe and caste continuum, we would see how the mobility is, how the social change is across the traditional defined group. So before we talk about how things were changing from tribal to the caste, I haven't formally started with tribal anthropology actually, but because this particular topic is mentioned in Indian social system, I have to deal with that right now, and because of that I thought I would give you the definition of the tribe. So this is the topic we are dealing with today. I have anyway given one Word document to you. We are trying to give a summary of that document here. Before going to tribe and caste continuum, let us see some popular definitions of tribe. This person we have already come across earlier, bitterly. Society having a clear linguistic, cultural boundary, economically self-contained unit. Underline the word economically self-contained. So far, whenever we were defining topics like caste, etc., we were saying that there is a lack of clarity. I mean, there is no one single definition. But here the problem is all the more bigger one, because the problem which anthropologists found was the difficulty to differentiate between a caste and a tribe, towards which our discussion will go today. Actually, there will not be much of a difference between a layman and a very highly renowned anthropologist when it comes to definition of tribe and comparing it with caste. Both of them will be on the same plane. It's as simple as there used to be one advertisement long time back, Limca. So father always used it to pester the son, do this, do this. Finally what he would say, that you will be happy in your life. So he was given a big rule book to follow, ye karo, ye karo, ye karo. Finally what you are going to get is peaceful and happy life. Then he says, see, having a limca under the tree, I am getting the same happiness, kind of. So there is no difference between somebody who is a well-read in the so-called anthropology, social anthropology, and a layman. Only thing is, the scholar of anthropology would know 3 or 4 additional definitions and nothing more than that. Finally, both of them would come to a conclusion that it is very difficult to categorize, make apart caste and a tribe. By now you already have something in mind about caste, like this is a system which is a stratification. So there are horizontal layers there, which is unlike some achievement oriented system. This is an ascribed one. The caste hierarchy is an ascribed one. We spoke about the interdependencies between them, where we said that it is an organic system. And we also were mentioning that there is no one single hierarchy that is applicable to all the regions of India. Region-wise, village-wise, state-wise, there can be differences in the hierarchy of the caste. So who is there at the top, that may be different from individual region to the other region. And we also made a point that change in occupation does not change the caste status. Nevertheless, it may change the way people look at you. Though the perception about you by the larger community might change. So you may be able to get higher respect if at all you are an educated fellow, you have some kind of a job, or you have a land holding, etc. So people may try to respect you. This is what we came across so far. So one thing is clear, that you are born in a caste. Originally you were also born into a guild, an occupational group. You knew what to do the moment you are born. But due to various things that were changing, in that small talk, you must have heard him saying that change might occur maybe simply because of time, or change might occur because of contact with others. So when things were changing, occupation was actually, people were having an opportunity to change their occupations from impure occupations to pure and vice versa. So this was how we were understanding caste and how things were moving within the caste. As of now today, apart from this particular definition, if somebody has to define a tribe, what can be called a tribe? Randomly you can shoot points. This can be called a tribe. He is talking about a linguistic cultural boundary with economic self-sufficiency. Isolation, geographical isolation and social isolation. Simple living. Okay, simple or pre-industrial kind of pre-industrial kind of, pre-civilizational kind of, and sir, non-pluralistic society. Any other word that we can use for that? Non-pluralistic, homogeneous society, or बताएं? So far what I got, one is pre-industrial agricultural, pre-industrial economic subsistence, isolation in terms of culture, in terms of geography, and you said non-pluralistic or homogeneous society, and shyness towards the external world, egalitarian. This is very, very important. Among anything else, what is very striking about the tribal societies is the relative egalitarian setup they have, meaning that less of inequality. We don't say that there's an absolute equality there, but when compared to the mainstream, they can be considered as more egalitarian. Aur bataiye? Kinship is more important than non-kin relations. Sanji sir, somebody from the back. Who cares for nature more than anybody else? Okay. Living in harmony with the nature, huh? Animism and totemism. That's what the documentary actually was talking about. We'll have to examine that. Towards the end of the document, they were speaking of animism and totemism are the religions they generally follow. Anything else, sir? Distinct racial or morphological characters which must have not changed for a long time. So maybe the moment you see a Toda, you will be able to identify one. If you see a Khasi, you should be able to. If you see a Chinchu, you should be in a position to identify them because they have maybe a close endogamy that persisted for a long time, made them physically unique or identifiable when compared to the rest of the people. So you already have so many definitions of tribe. Looking at these terms, these defining features that you have given to me, can we apply them to the caste as well? No? Such as?
Homogeneous to some extent.
Who is homogeneous? Is it to some extent in the sense, are you saying that caste is also homogeneous?
They prefer endogamy.
Such as?
They prefer endogamy, like marrying with
Okay. Why endogamy? In general, why endogamy? You're scared. You're scared of outsiders. You're generally scared of the relation, but then you're scared of the outsiders, marrying somebody from outside your community and maintaining purity. Aur bataiye sir, piche se my question was, if at all you didn't hear, why endogamy in the first place? Idhar aa jaiye.
preserve the wealth within the
Preserving the wealth, it may be a material wealth or it may be cultural wealth. You don't want your culture to be adulterated. That is also seen as seen from the perspective of you don't want your bloodline to be adulterated. So whether in terms of culture or in the bloodline, you would want to maintain purity. Though it reminds me of this, though Hinduism and the caste system for that matter depends a lot on purity and impurity. When it comes to marriage, within marriage, purity is a foregone conclusion for Hinduism. Emantivi, adileda, the whole thing. He gives good lot of examples there, where how inter-caste marriages were happening right from the Kaurava time. or pre-Kaurava time. So purity there becomes an imaginary element. A thorough endogamy becomes an imaginary element. Intercaste marriages were happening right from the beginning. So we'll continue on that. There are few terms that I would want to come back on. This is the other one. I wanted to take mostly the Indian definitions, presuming that Indians are in a better position to understand the definitions of caste. Caste is a close-knit kinship, a group that constitutes a society. God knows what it is. You don't know what a society is until and unless you know what a society is. It becomes difficult to understand this definition. A close-knit kinship group that constitutes a society. This is the other one, R.C. Verma. Can I go to the next one? There is a book this man had written called Indian Tribes Through Ages. You can scribble this title somewhere, Indian Tribes Through Ages. Very old-time book. Very simple, comprehensive. I recommend this book for you. You don't buy it, but then I generally recommend this, use this for two topics. One is tribal revolts. The other is constitutional provisions. There are many others, but these are the two that are well written. A homogeneous, somebody had said homogeneous. Homogeneous, self-contained unit without any hierarchical discrimination. You can see that each of the definition has got its own focus. It's not that the entire list is provided. This is a general opinion of those Western scholars. It's an ethnic group, geographically isolated, territorial, having distinct social, economic, cultural traditions and practices. Notes and Queries gives this definition. One additional word that is used here is it's an ethnic group. Achha, somebody was writing a mail to me that the documents I am placing in the Dropbox, they are not able to download. Is it that? You are able to download? Okay. If at all somebody has a problem, we will have to look at it. Generally, I mean, we have been doing this for a long time, so I don't think that should be a problem. If you are not able to download, वो specifically आपसे sort out करना है. You will have to identify what's the mistake that you are making. Few others there. The Constitution of India doesn't define the tribes, but we have the definition of scheduled tribes. Traditional occupations, definite geography, distinct language, culture, religion, etc., etc. Primitive traits in occupation, economy, lack of education, technological development. These are seen to define scheduled tribes. Defined tribe was never a question for us, but then if at all such a sub-question is asked in a major question, define a tribe, instead of jumping to defining, you talk about the problem of defining. problem of defining vis-a-vis the caste, and you say that these could be the characteristic features mostly agreed upon by many scholars. Reinterpreting the question, redefining the question becomes important occasionally. Many times you must have heard people saying that write what is actually asked. We also say write what is actually asked. But occasionally when certain questions which are controversial are asked, you will have to redefine it. Can I go? So popularly we end up with the Ghurier's list of defining features of whatever entity he picks up. With caste also he did the same thing. Not many supporters to this list. Of course, number 4 was already given, animistic religion. Every feature given by him is criticized. Isolation is one, racial stocks, as somebody was saying, having their own dialect, animistic religion, simple occupation. Last 2 are highly controversial, largely carnivorous, either naked or semi-naked. So maybe they are at the first level of parabolic evolution, we are at the 3rd level. Ji sir. No, this is in general for the tribes. PTGs have their own the list of characteristics such as low levels of literacy, pre-agricultural level of technology, and declining population or disappearing numbers. Those are considered to be the characteristics of primitive tribal groups. Reducing numbers is a defining feature there apart from the 2. But this is in general. Generally people criticize of course keeping those 2 aside, last 2 aside. Can we once again define what is animism? Belief in souls. Where do we put Hinduism? Polytheism. So you are worshipping many souls. Any religion for that matter emerges from the belief in soul. It's a rarity that one odd religion you might come across where they say that there is no proof that there is a soul. We'll have to understand that in religion very rarely we ask for proofs. And when somebody asks for a proof and your religion is able to give that proof, then you are the supreme religion. This struggle has been going on, which religion is supreme. Critics say that any religion for that matter, at various degrees, is animistic in spirit. If we say that we don't believe in being a follower of a particular religion, you say that you don't believe in soul. What could be the substitute for soul? Soul or a spirit, whatever we believe in. Why should one particular, this you say Sivalinga, I am worshipping this. Why is it that this stone alone be worshipped? Just because of its shape? Because of the energy that it has. Who is responsible for the energy from here? Who is responsible for the emerging for energy from here? Huh? It is giving energy. Okay. Maybe that the other variant we got is it may not be soul, but the feel that it has some energy. My question is still incomplete there. The answer is still incomplete. You think over it. When you believe that there is an energy, there is energy. That's your answer. When there is a belief that there is an energy. But what is that source of energy? If you say that there is energy, what could be the source of energy? నేచర్ అని గుండెలు బాదుకున్నాను నేను 4 సార్లు విన్నాను. నేనేం మాట్లాడలేదు దాని గురించి. అంటే ఏంటి ఇదేదో తేడా ఉంది దీని గురించి మాట్లాడొద్దు అని అర్థం అనమాట. చెప్పండి బాగుంది చెప్పండి చెప్పండి గో హెడ్ చెప్పండి ప్లీజ్ టాక్ or so finally you are leading this answer to where? So I say it again what our friend is saying. He says that there is a belief that there is energy and hence there is energy. So it shows for him, your name sir, I forgot. Nikhil. For Nikhil, a blind faith may also be a religion. A blind faith, an unquestioning blind faith can also be a religion. He is not really bothered about the proofs. But for him, energy is the one that you will have to look for. The temples are located, are constructed in a particular way so that energies are getting concentrated. Energies from where? Who from the cosmic places is releasing this energy? No, these are all very naive questions, sir. I am not asking very intellectual questions there. When somebody says that energies are getting concentrated, who could be the one or from where are the energies actually coming? Our friend says that cosmic regions, cosmic energies. So somebody must have, something must have been responsible for this cosmic energy also. Something, Big Bang. Who was responsible for the bang? What was there before Big Bang? వాట్ వాజ్ మీరు ఫిజిక్స్ చదువుకున్నారా? ఏం చదివారు? జెనెటిక్స్ చదివారా? ఇంజనీరింగ్ చదివారా? ఇంజనీరింగ్లో ఫిజిక్స్ లేదా? అకౌంటెన్సీలోనే ఉంటుందా? బీకామ్లోనే ఉంటుందా ఫిజిక్స్? Now that's where the question goes. It's like a question after question where it leads you to. That's where you will have to watch these debates. I don't know whether I have mentioned Richard Dawkins in your class. Richard Dawkins, who tries to prove that there is no God. He has been trying to prove that there is no God. So there are two scholars. I mean, when time permits, you just listen to their debates. John Lennox versus Richard Dawkins. Lennox studied physics. He's a professor. He worked with Oxford and other places. He still is working as a professor there. So it's like they have series of debates. The place is set, and they first identify what is the topic on which we will have to debate and fight. And every fight ends where it had ended in the last talk. Every time they try to outsmart each other, try to prove. Dawkins says that there is no God. God is an illusion, or a delusion rather. Whereas Lennox tries to prove the existence of God and creationism. And when time permits, you see what is his explanation, being somebody from physics, a discipline that believes in the Big Bang. How a creationist is understanding, how a creationist is presenting the idea of a Big Bang. And sometimes their conferences, their debates are held in the museums, archaeological museums. You see them sitting between the fossils of dinosaurs, etc. And then just imagine two dinosaurs, once, no, they are also starting to talk. No, this is not the thing that we have seen. Ye dono ko aap dekhiye. You'll really enjoy, no, if not become a creationist or an evolutionist, whatever. But the debate itself would take you to the new areas of writing. Maybe when topics of religion and evolution, Darwinism, etc. come in the exam, these can be used liberally in order to give an additional information. So our questions still remained there. What is the source of energy, cosmic energy, etc. आप उसको देखिए आराम से बाद में. Finally, you try to come to a conclusion. We are trying to go to this topic called tribe and caste continuum. This topic explains to us various aspects such as culture change, cultural diffusion, and cultural contact. We have seen that in the definitions, there have been things like this. I mean, just have a look at this once again. We'll come back on what we wanted to talk about. For example, the second one there. Tribes belong to any of the three racial stocks, Negroid, Australoid, or Mongoloid. Can we associate the three races with the castes also? Any particular caste we can place in specific races? Aryans as a Brahmin or Kshatriya. These उसी ज़माने की बात कर लेंगे अभी क्या? At least maybe 1,000 years ago. We can associate it with Varna. Sir, when I say that there is an element of racism in the caste, I don't say that this is exactly those three variants. This problem of fighting race and racism was there even during Franz Boas. He said that maybe in the earliest times when Cro-Magnon, etc. were there, they were giving rise to, based on the regional requirements, three different groups of people who varied outwardly. But as such, they were all belonging to one single species. This discussion was there right from that time. But even today, when I am saying that there is something like a racism in caste, What I mean is not in terms of, see, these are the three kinds of list of characteristics. No, not this. There are certain there are certain popular notions, popular ways of understanding. वो क्या था? Yeah, that Salman Khan's thing, Bajrangi Bhaijan. Looking at the young girl, he starts with a presumption that maybe she is a Brahmin. And then when she starts eating non-vegetarian, maybe she is a Kshatriya. But later he found that something else. So there are certain popularly understood, popularly conceived ideas that maybe they are the Brahmins or Kshatriyas or scheduled castes or Baniya kind of things. Did you try this any time? Looking at a person, you are able to say, or many times you must have asked, are you a Brahmin? Maybe that the skin tone sometimes indicates that fairer fellows could be Brahmins. It is also a popular saying that you are not supposed to believe a darker Brahmin or a fairer Vaishya. So when I am saying that there is a race-like distinction in the caste that seems to be there ingrained in the way we are looking at these categories. There are a few others there who are carnivores. Maybe that they are eating the animals that are there in the forest, but you are eating them out. You are trying to eliminate them. Now, we were speaking of these things. Let me start with this. It is said that there are three different phases of tribals experiencing social change. I am not going into that particular topic of social change in tribals, chapter 7, chapter 8. There is a whole lot of repetition there. Your syllabus asks about colonial times and social change of tribes, post-colonial social change of tribes, etc. My idea here is to bring to you the concept of tribe and caste continuum. It was initially believed that there are two different entities of tribe and caste. When I am saying that initially believed, these are the Western scholars who are believing in that. Initially they believed that there are two entities that can be distinguished from one another, that is tribe and caste. But when it came to properly identifying them based on some defining features, they always found a difficulty. There are certain lists of books that are mentioned in that Word document. I'm not asking you to write all those titles, but you can see that. Most of the titles were like tribes and castes, tribes and castes, tribes and castes. When ethnographs are being written, ethnographs of tribes and castes, that's how it was looked at as. When you are using such kind of vocabulary, it indicates that if you go into the details, these are the titles only, if you go into the details, we see that the respective writers seem to be confused about how to distinguish them. So one unsaid kind of a division that we found is somebody who was there for a long time in the Hindu fold, Hindu hierarchy, Hindu fold of belief system, they can be called caste groups, and the tribes are external to the Hindu castes. Am I clear to you? This is a very basic, understandable definition, which is now believed in. Because whatever defining feature you are trying to pick up, you find it in some degrees in the other group also. Right now, finally, in the 21st century, we came to a belief that those communities that have been associated with the Hindu fold for a long time, in terms of social structure, in terms of belief system, we can call them the caste groups, and the rest of the ones could be tribes. But then we are dealing with this kind of a definition also within the Indian subcontinent alone. And when I am saying that the ones that are not within the caste, I am not saying that Christianity can be a tribe or Islam can be a tribe. No, I am not looking at it from that perspective. There were people who tried to distinguish caste and tribe based on who came to India first, who came to the subcontinent first. The people who believed that tribes were the natives of this land and the caste had come from outside. We neither criticize nor second that statement. May be possible. If we believe in Aryan origin of caste, then we can believe in this kind of a statement that a tribe could be something that was existing in the pre-Aryan times. So when you are trying to answer this question, tribe and caste continuum, you would begin by saying that this is a concept that explains culture contact and cultural diffusion and cultural change in Indian society, where the change of the status is not within the caste but between caste and some external feature. So there is one other way of differentiating the two. See, it's something like this. Caste is internal to some other bigger social entity. Caste is internal to some other bigger social entity. That bigger social entity could be the so-called Hinduism. But when it comes to tribe, tribe is an independent one. It is not a part of any other bigger entity. I hope you are following what I am saying. Caste is a part of a bigger realm of things where there are several castes that are interdependent. The identity of this caste is possible only if it is there in that fold of things. Are you following what I am saying, sir? Huh? But when it comes to tribe, it is not internal to anything else. See, maybe each of the tribe is depending on the other, but one of the defining features we have seen in tribe is this is in most of the cases self-dependent, self-sufficient community. So when you are comparing tribe and caste, you are comparing the one which is a part of a bigger entity with something that is independent by itself. So the level of comparison doesn't match. You are not matching with this bigger group with this one. You are actually matching with this one with the tribe. But then why this is happening is, this element of caste seem to have percolated all the aspects of Hinduism. Remove this becomes hollow. Suppose I am removing caste from Hinduism. What is remaining there? These are the questions on which you will be thinking. I don't want you to respond immediately, but then suppose I am removing caste. Imagine a Hinduism without caste. Meaning, what was there popularly in the Rigvedic or pre-Rigvedic times?
You can choose your occupation and the movement is allowed. So there are no, even exogamous, in the Varnas also, that was allowed. So that can happen.
And if I am removing caste from Hinduism, maybe so. Maybe we are talking about a time when the full-fledged, 100% Hinduism did not originate. Maybe we are talking about a time, long time back in history, with something that was continuing from there till now. Definitely there must have been changes in the tribe, but then, if I am saying that, I repeat what I was talking about. I said that caste is one of the entities within a larger Hindu fold, and tribe is the one that can independently exist. When we are comparing, the levels of comparison are actually different. But then suppose I am removing this one, the importance of caste we are trying to bring here, because caste seem to be guiding a lot of Hindu belief system. It is seemed to be ingrained in most of the aspects of culture. So if at all I am removing that, I may be taking this religion back in time several centuries from now. Meaning that if I am removing this from Hinduism, I am going to some kind of an imaginary state, some kind of an imaginary initial state, wherein we see that stratification of the time that is existing today must not have been existing. Meaning that the kind of defining element what we see in the contemporary Hindu society, contemporary in the sense that I am talking about the very traditional Hindu society, the element of purity was not existing. So I repeat what I said. If I am removing caste, I am trying to take this to a time that was long time back in history, and at that time these were also continuing, these were also existing, and we see that they are continuing in certain common ways, but this one, when I am removing caste from here, the nature of this group itself is altogether different. Whether such a thing was existing at that time, that is anybody's imagination. We do understand that if I am removing caste, we are going to a pre-Rigvedic religion. In your paper 2, chapter 1, there is something mentioned. The contributions of tribal societies to the Hindu community, etc., etc. Maybe we are talking about that particular time here, when the caste still did not originate. The kind of pre-Rigvedic situation was there. As somebody was saying that maybe the society was still divided on the lines of tribe and caste did not still originate. Now, keeping this discussion aside, these are the things like a food for your mind, food for your thought. Let me once again come back. We are comparing caste with the tribe primarily because caste decides the physics, the chemistry of Hindu society. And if somebody from outside would want to be a part of Hindu society, he would want to see the characteristics, the characteristic that is predominantly existing in Hinduism, that will be caste system. Because this is the one that defines everything. Your lifestyle, your social status, your rules related to marriage, your rules are related to purity, etc. Everything you pick up that seems to have been decided by the caste to which one belongs. And because of this, when a tribe would want to compare itself or would want to be a part of this larger entity, he would want to imbibe the aspects related to caste. Now, right from the beginning, it is said that right from the ancient times, because the very traditional Hindu literature, like the epics or the Puranas, we see the existence of the names of several tribes, such as the Gonds, etc., etc. These are the names that have been there in the bigger religious books. Or maybe, groups like the Gonds, they have something like a Gotra or clan, the names of which come from various rishis and munis of ancient times. It shows that somewhere they were actually coming together. See, in the contemporary times, culture contact is seen as a massive one that happens at a faster speed. So it's like this: if at all you are planning for laying of a road or a railway line in a tribal area, that itself would lead to a huge amount of change in the people that fall along that line. Maybe they are eliminated or their lifestyle totally changes, kind of things. But the kind of culture contact that we see in the contemporary times is a catastrophic one when compared to the previous one, where we see that the change, the accommodation was existing. They were living in harmony with each other, and then there was some kind of an exchange of ideas. Now, when it comes to this continuum, remember the man with that name, Bailey. Frederick Bailey is considered to be the first one to discuss this topic at an academic level. Till then, people were writing books like Tribes and Castes of Central Provinces, etc. See, it somehow started with the 1931 census where Guha was also involved. The usage of the word tribe and caste. That was the first formal distinguishing terminology used in the modern times. Earlier to that, earlier to 1930s, people were writing of these entities casually. But then 1931 census was the first one to say that, see, these are the caste groups and these are the tribal groups. And 31 census was also having anthropometric data with it. So they were also trying to say that, see, tribes are these fellows who have these kind of physical characteristics. Or when I say that there is a tribe which is a Negroid tribe or maybe a Mongoloid tribe, these are the characteristics that they might be having, such kind of physical characteristic based and economic subsistence based, location based, language based, formal distinction between caste and tribe was made possible by 1931 census. This was the first formal occasion. When it comes to academically writing about them, he had introduced this term called tribe and caste continuum. But the influence to write this had come from something called great and little traditions. So when you will have to write an answer on great and little tradition, its usefulness, you can use this there. That's in the later times, these are the two concepts that were used by Bailey for giving this concept of tribe and caste continuum. Robert Redfield had used folk-urban continuum, that was the title he was using. Folk and urban continuum. For him, there cannot be two proper endpoints of folk and urban. There is so much of intermix that is happening. Based on that intermix, there is a continuum existing. So one can actually compare with the expanding cities. From the so-called heart of the city to the peripheries when you are going, you see the trends changing. By the time you go to Dilshuk Nagar, you see that maybe you are coming to areas like Guntur or Vijayawada. Maybe based on the kind of structures that are being constructed there, the kind of language people speak, the kind of lifestyle people are having. So this he was talking about, this Robert Redfield was talking about in the context of urban, folk or village continuums. Similar thing he is trying to say, Bailey is trying to say. For him, tribe and caste are two utopian entities, pure utopian entities. When he is saying that they are pure utopian entities, though pure, they are only imaginary. There has been a constant give and take between the mainstream Hindu communities and the so-called isolated peripheral communities. Based on to what extent they are intermingling with each other, the varieties have come in between. So tribe and caste, if you are able to clearly distinguish from one another, it is like ones and zeros of Levi-Strauss, which is actually not real, not possible. I'll show you something here. Yes, ma'am. No, when it comes to caste and tribe, caste occupies the whole space. It occupies the whole space. It becomes almost equal to Hindu. Look at that. Though these are the things that are considered to be two different entities, tribe and caste, there has been a movement from tribe to caste and caste to tribe. So if I am comparing it with great and little tradition, maybe I say that this is little tradition, this is great tradition. And we see that more of the traits move from great to little, more numbers actually move from little to great, little numbers move from caste to tribe. I wait for you, you first finish off writing that. Hanji sir. We'll come to that. First you finish this one. That is my subject matter anyway today. The concept is finally to conclude that you cannot properly put them in two different watertight compartments. The border is always porous. The boundary has blurred. It started blurring long time back in ancient times, more so in modern times. That is the conclusion actually. Some of the tribes like Andaman Islanders, they can be seen as more close to pure isolated tribes. And some of the tribes which have come very close to the caste, that is Bhils, Rajgons, Bhumjis, etc., good numbers of them there. Certain examples we have seen where the low castes are trying to take the closer tribes, the geographically closer tribes in that region, which are more prosperous. So you try to imitate the more prosperous, more evolved tribal community. When I'm saying that more evolved, it may not simply be a cultural evolution. It may be an evolution in terms of their social status. How the mainstream Hinduism is considering that particular tribal community. Are they considering the tribe as somebody on the range of a Kshatriya or somebody on the range of a well-to-do Vaishya? So you will compare that tribe with the hierarchical setup that you are having in the caste, and suppose they are considered to be superior to you. So if they are dining with a Kshatriya community of your own hierarchy, it means that they are superior to you. So if at all you are not in a position to move up to a Kshatriya status in your own hierarchy, you can actually have a way out there. You can adopt that tribal living. You can become a tribe and sit with your Kshatriya fellows. So the formula is, I'll see who is the friend of my enemy, and then I would want to be that. Now the processes, as our friend was asking, here the arrow mark, what I meant was that communities are trying to move towards caste. Communities are trying to move towards caste by adopting caste characteristics. And similarly here, these are the communities that are trying to move towards the tribe by maybe giving up what their caste feature is and maybe by adopting what a tribal feature is. When it comes to this particular element, low caste, they may be adopting a lot of tribalization and insignificant Sanskritization, because they are already low caste, they are non-Sanskritized. So there is an insignificant desanskritization that happens. There's an insignificant desanskritization along with the tribalization. These are the people who do not get tribalized, who do not get desanskritized. They are only trying to take the name of the tribe. That's what we spoke in pseudo-tribalism. When it comes to this, these are the fellows that are getting detribalized and Sanskritized. Through detribalization and Sanskritization, the tribe is trying to move towards the caste. And occasionally we have seen some examples there. It may only be an occupational shift and not with Sanskritization, may not be with detribalization also. Sometimes a mere occupational shift, such as the Rajgond, a mere occupational shift might bring a change in their identity. So they are becoming rulers, calling themselves, they are becoming soldiers, calling themselves Kshatriya. They are not changing their ways of tribal living, so they are not getting detribalized. They are not actually adopting Sanskritic ways of life. What is changing is only an occupation. Are you with me? This is interesting. When it comes to caste, a mere change in occupation may not change your social status. A mere change in occupation may not change where you are in that list. Your caste would remain the same. You're changing occupation, your caste would remain the same. But when it comes to tribe, they're changing occupation, changing a name, and becoming a caste group. It shows that maybe for a non-caste group, it is easy to get the caste mobility when compared to a caste group who finds it difficult in caste mobility. Did you reach me? Did you reach me? Sir, please. Sir, please. I repeat what I am saying. Sir, actually, these are the topics that are less difficult when compared to the rest of the ones. These are the ones that are existing in front of us. We live with these things, so it is easy to comprehend on these topics when compared to talking about a stone without any evidence. I repeat what I am saying. There is a constant give and take. Tribes are trying to become a caste and vice versa, based on whoever at that point of time is in a better position. Suppose some castes are feeling that tribes are in a better position, they may be opting to call themselves, show up themselves as a tribe. And with regard to this, there are going to be good number of examples we'll see from small efforts of getting a recognition of a tribe. There was one study presented by Heimendorf, that was a long time back study. Heimendorf study in some of the tribal communities in Srikakulam and Vijayanagaram district, where he was mentioning that several tribes of that region were having an absolute right over transfer of land. He was talking about the pre-British condition there, pre-independent and largely pre-British condition there. So what was happening in the nearby communities was, suppose a caste group wanted to have a land holding. I'm not speaking of the big legislations we have brought to stopping land transfer from tribe to non-tribe, etc. I'm talking about a time prior to that. What Heimendorf was trying to bring there was, if somebody wanted to catch hold of a land there, it was possible by getting an entry into the tribal world, acceptance in the tribal world. He was referring to one social entity there called a Nestam, friend, Nestam. This is the group that would decide with whom we can have relations. There's a good list of tribal names that he was giving. I'll be doing all that in some other class. I'm trying to say here that, see, occasionally getting an entry into getting hold of the resources would be possible by getting an acceptance by the natives there. So Nestam is something like a council where several members are there. If at all you are able to win over the Nestam, you would be accepted as a tribal member. Once you are a tribal member, maybe by adoption by the natives there or by several other mechanisms, you are actually declared a tribe, and whatever facilities are there, whatever rights are there for the tribals, that can be extended to the outsider also. It was possible because at that time, because they were gullible and only a few very smart fellows would try to do that in order to get hold of the so-called the tribal lands there. This was in the pre-British times, where the individual is not changing his lifestyle. He is not getting into the desanskritization mode. And it was an individual who is doing this. It is not the entire community. But in the case of tribe and caste continuum, we are speaking of the entire group trying to change from one direction to the other. So if at one point of time they feel that the tribe is in dominant position, the caste groups in the vicinity would want to show up themselves as a tribe and vice versa. Tribe and caste continuum concept still accepts what folk urban continuum was saying, that there is more of a give from the great tradition, meaning more of the things are accepted from the caste and less from the tribe. You go into the details and examine, for example, pantheon of gods. Once if you look at the Chenchu documentary, you'll understand that though they have one or two primary deities, most of the Hindu deities are accepted by them. If you look at that, the other documentary from your Dropbox, you will understand that they primarily worship Lord Mallikarjuna, one variant of Shiva, and they believe that they are the children of Shiva born to their mother called Chenchu Lakshmi. Chenchu Lakshmi was married to Lord Shiva, and these are the children of Lord Shiva and the lady. See, in the great tradition of Hinduism, Shiva has how many wives? In the great tradition of Hinduism, popularly two. One dances on his head, one becomes the half part of the body of him. They are there everywhere in him. But if you see several other local variants, you see that Shiva seems to have married several local goddesses. You may not be able to get a proof of this in the mainstream in the great tradition scriptures, but these are the folk tales. Now we see some of the things that must have moved from one to the other. I'm trying to bring to you some basic things. These are some of the ideas. When you say that caste villages have specific ways of settlements, as we were mentioning in the previous classes, each caste might be having its own geographical location in the village. That at one point of time was seen as a caste feature. But you see several of the tribes, including that of the Gonds, we can find that within the tribe also there can be the segments of tribe that might inhabit in different geographical locations, meaning that some of the segments of a tribe may be living on the higher levels and some may be a lowly living geographically. Some may be nearer to the water bodies, a few may be far off from the water bodies. This, when it becomes systematized, you cannot distinguish between a tribe and a caste. This has been reported from several tribes. And at one point of time in the Jajmani system, dominant caste, etc., we said that every caste has got its own councils. Tribes also have councils. Every moiety has its own council. Every clan has got its own council. In fact, the institution of clan itself shows that tribe and caste are so close to each other. Clan or Gotra, many people say that this is a Hindu trait. But several anthropologists are of the opinion that this is a pre-Hindu character. Tribes, before the arrival of a proper Hinduism, already had the institution of clan. So that's where it is. Hmm.
Most of the aspects overlap between caste and tribe. Why use the terms tribalization or sensibilization? It itself indicates that tribe is something different and caste is something different.
That is the problem here. A lot of literature was already generated on tribalization, Sanskritization, etc., and casteization or Hinduization, etc. Without properly identifying, without coming to a proper conclusion that, see, this could be the defining element of tribe. See, it is something like this. You feel that it is existing, but you can't define it. It's as simple as you feel that there is a supreme power existing, you can't define it. Maybe a tribe is something that has been existing, we know that it is existing, but a proper definition of it becomes a difficult thing. So you try to somehow communicate to the rest of the globe that maybe these are the simple fellows, maybe these are having the primitive occupation, maybe these are having their own distinct culture. So you are trying to bring 10s and 20s of different characteristics to finally say that maybe a combination of them would make a tribe. We know that they are real, they are existing, and they are not one and the same everywhere. There can be tribes which are practicing one kind of economic subsistence. There can be tribes which are at one particular level of political evolution, or there can be tribes which are there at a different level of evolution in terms of kinships, in terms of family institutions. But then clearly they are different. How they are different may vary from region to region. So we understand that they are real, but a proper definition is difficult. And that is also the reason why the spectrum is existing. Tribes at different levels of casteization.
Means something like subcaste existing, like subtribes also exist among tribes. For instance, as you said, based on region.
We can say that. We can say that. For example, within Bhils we see sub-tribes, which may be seen as the variant of a caste. Or within Naga there are so many tribes. So based on maybe what their principal characteristic is, based on that the division might be there.
The Toda tribe, I think we saw concept of moiety. How is that different from the subtribe? Is it the same or when you mean subtribes, they completely different?
See, for now, if I am taking tribe as something that is self-sufficient, independent of anything, sub-tribe can also be seen that way. So they believe that, see, these are the 2 or 3, several groups are there, who believe that they are all branches of the same thing, but they can live by themselves independent of one another. For all practical purposes, they can be considered as tribe in themselves. But because there is some kind of a root that you are trying to associate yourself with, you become a sub-tribe. I hope you are following what I am saying. But when it comes to moiety, it can be within a tribe, it can be within a sub-tribe. Okay. So moiety is actually to bring a hierarchy within a tribe, whereas a sub-tribe need not necessarily be having that hierarchy. Did I? Once again, ma'am. Yes, yes. So that is the beginning of losing of the hierarchy. And
So at
tribalization process. They are not losing their identity as a low caste of Hindu for the government. Okay. Once again the question. The question is about that. When a low caste is trying to move towards the tribe for the egalitarian purpose, बताइए.
But they will be the ultimate part of Hindu society only, or the mainstream caste system only. So what is the use which they are getting, the utility of tribalization process? Because they are not losing their characteristic as a lower caste.
I'll put it this way. Tribalization is one of the methods they must have chosen to change their status. Tribalization is one of the ways of attempting to move out of whatever atrocities they must have. What you are looking at is the end result. They are looking at the process. So it's like, I'll put it more bluntly. So many of you are writing the exam. Only a few are getting through. Then what is the use of trying for the others? No, you answer this one. You answer this one. So many people are taking the exam. A few are getting through. Others are actually losing so much. Then what is the use? Maybe. You are actually trying every possible mechanism to change your status. Being a low caste, you tried Sanskritization, you tried several other things. You actually couldn't get out of it. So maybe tribalization is one of the ways of getting out of all those difficult situations. Maybe there is a hope. This is giving a hope that maybe I would get a different kind of a recognition. I see that there are certain tribes. I am not choosing every XYZ tribe. I am choosing that tribe that is considered respectful by the rest of the Hindu community. When the rest of the Hindus are respecting one particular tribal community, I am trying to imitate that tribe and moving towards that. I hope I answered you. Anything else? Anything else on this?
The tribe itself is changing it towards the caste system. Why do the caste people want people from the caste want to join the tribe? Because the tribe itself.
See, everything is not happening everywhere. Everything is not happening everywhere. In certain regions, a caste may be dominant, and hence tribe is trying to move towards that. In certain other regions, the low caste, they think that okay, they are not in a position to handle the things now. They are looking for a better way in their own region through tribe. So it is not like a subcontinental announcement that is made. See, from now we are moving, all tribes are moving towards caste and be known of this kind of. It's not happening that way. So you only are looking at those segregated positions, segregated regions. See, within this region, it's not like a wider horizon that you are witnessing. You look at your own region, your own village, or your own, and within that you are trying to move. Or from that point of view, we can look at it this way. Caste has got much wider coverage, much wider geographical coverage. Caste has much wider geographical coverage where you see the similar kind of principles in operation in a larger geography when compared to a tribe, which is a more localized one. Their condition may seem to be more localized when compared to a caste. So in that sense, if I am trying to go further, caste and its hierarchy is much more widely accepted. Which caste is dominant, that's a different thing. But caste hierarchy is more widely accepted when compared to the tribe, its living, its culture. That is the reason why some of the people, they try to distinguish a tribe as a more localized, a folk kind of living when compared to caste, which has much wider, great tradition kind of a thing. So just because tribes are moving towards caste, you cannot say that, see, we are anyway moving that side, why are you coming this side, let's go back. More of a traffic flow from this side, let us all go in one direction. No. Everybody is trying to try things. How about the group 1 exam? It's over? It's over? Many people, they were writing that we are writing group 1 exam. So, meer rasaramma? Okay. I thought that many faces that were not there regularly in the class, when I'm seeing them, I thought that you have finished your exams and come to say hello to me once again after a long time. Is this okay? Any other question from the back? People, especially at the lower levels of hierarchy, would always want to try things to improve their status. Sometimes they may be successful within their own traditional hierarchical system. When that system doesn't offer a promise, they would want to get out. So I'm continuing from what she has asked. Some of them might try tribalization, some may try Christianization, some may try Buddhism, whatever. At the end of it, Hanji sir, let me finish this sentence. At the end of it, none of them might give the result that they looked for. Even after being a Christian, you may be treated low caste. Even after being a tribal, you may be a low caste, etc., etc. Hanji sir. Retribalization, detribalization, need not necessarily be. Occupation could be one. Detribalization, ask the question again. Detribalization is only regarding occupation. When we say detribalization, it means that you are giving up the tribal characteristics. You are giving up the tribal characteristics and adopting the caste, whatever characteristics. So, see, detribalization might happen along with Hinduization, along with Islamization, along with Christianization. Suppose I am looking at Hinduization. In detribalization, you may be giving up your occupation, you are giving up your gods, you are giving up your social systems, such as the marriage system, the exchange systems, or it may be kinship, it may be location, it may be exchanges such as dowry, kind of things. Whatever the social system that you are having, you are giving them up and adopting your target group's characteristics. So within detribalization also there may be variants. For example, if you look at the Bhils, these are the people who have, the ones who got Hinduized, they have tried to give up a lot of tribal characteristics. They adopted purity and pollution, as we see in the caste Hindus. They adopted a clan system. They adopted the whole lot of gods of Hinduism. So it is going into the very microscopic level there, when compared to somebody who may be superficially there. So we were seeing the Chenchus there. More gods are better than one single god. Two is better than one, kind of a thing.
So they are moving. Why tribes are moving towards caste? There are already regulated. Why should they not?
అంటే ఇది మీరు తెలిసి అడుగుతున్నారా, తెలియక అడుగుతున్నారా, నన్ను టెస్ట్ చేయడానికి అడుగుతున్నారా లేదా? వన్స్ అగైన్ మళ్ళీ అడగండి. తెలుగు వస్తుందమ్మా? రాదా? ఓకే, యూ ఆస్ ద క్వశ్చన్ అగైన్. మళ్ళీ మీనింగ్ అగైన్, ఫిర్ సే. In caste system, hierarchy is there. Okay. In tribes, there is no hierarchy. Then whether it is caste or tribe or whatever it is, you would want to move towards those who have wider coverage, more dominant. Whether it is tribe, caste or religion, race, whatever. Why is it that everybody would want to have a fairer skin? Why is it that everybody would want to have a fairer skin? Why? That's my question to you, please. Why is it that everybody would want to have a fairer skin? You know that more and more populations are being born in the browner regions, more brown populations are increasing, but still you would want to have a fairer skin. Why? Sometimes I get aghast by the kind of toiletries the males use, cosmetics the male people use. Several of my friends, without a notice, when I go to their homes and their rooms, I find that the whole cupboards are filled with whitening things. My God, who said that only women use cosmetics? I am trying to get answer from you still. Then I'll come back with my own answer for you. His question was, caste is a hierarchical one, tribe is not. Then why tribe should move towards the caste? However hierarchical, however unjust it might be, because the entity, the group having this characteristic has been flourishing, it has been there in a dominant position, all these, the so-called small ones, would become a part of it. As long as you are outside this bigger thing, you are insignificant. However worthwhile you are. Actually, when several companies, small companies, would get merged into a bigger entity, they do that because they are a part of the bigger one. Even outside they were surviving with all freedom. They are merging into the bigger corporate because they are getting that bigger corporate's name. Within the bigger corporate, you lose your identity. You are nothing once you are there. But then you are becoming a part of the bigger thing. I hope I have answered your question. Irrespective of whether it is caste, tribe, religion, race, creed, language, whatever, you are actually moving towards the more dominant one. It's like all the rivers go and merge with the bigger sea. You know very well that the sea water is not really potable, but why is it that all rivers have to go and meet there? It's as simple as it is.
Or you can say that we are literally forcing them and we are taking away their habitats.
Once again, sir.
We are literally forcing them to come into the mainstream society. We are taking away their habitats and their economic subsistence and telling that modernization is the only way that we can survive. Because many times these tribes, historically also, and not just in India, have tried to resist coming into the modern society and they've been either exterminated or forced into the society.
We are trying to give an example of survival of the fittest. If at all the weak can survive, let them. It's as simple as it is. If we are forcing them, yes, we are forcing them. We'll have to accept that, yes, we are forcing them. Through disciplines such as anthropology, people try to give a voice to the so-called the oppressed. Disciplines like this would try to give, maybe they may, if at all successful, they may try to slow down the process, which is only an imaginary one. You cannot, with your card of anthropology, can't stand on the highway saying that, see, this is wrong. You would also be overrun by. So you are trying to put a placard that, see, This route may take all of us to a hell, kind of a thing. But I think we have passed all those stages where we say that let them have an informed choice. When were you given an informed choice in your life? At a personal level, at a personal level, at what time did you decide for yourself? At what time did you, this is a question I am seeking an answer from you. At what time did you, if at all, decide for yourself? బాధగా చూడకు ఆన్సర్ చెప్పు. At what time? She still did not get that time in life. At what time were you having the right of informed choice? After 12. What choice? After graduation. అయిపోయింది అంత ఏముంది, అయిపోయింది. అది చాలా డిప్లొమాటిక్గా చెప్పడం అనమాట. Maybe undergraduation is one that decides the rest of your life. Undergraduation is something that decides the rest of your life. And your father said, you finish your medicine, you finish your engineering, you finish whatever course, उसके बाद जो करना है कर लो. क्या करना क्या है उसके बाद? కూర్చొని భజన చేసుకోవడం తప్ప ఏం చేస్తావు తర్వాత? You don't have control over your own life, sir. You don't have control over your own life. You're there in shackles from every side. At every point of time you are said, finish this, life is yours. Finish this, life is yours. When life itself is gone, there's nothing that is yours. To what extent we can control such huge entities, the whole world conspiring against smaller fellows? We have actually lost that time. What at best an anthropology can do is conduct some kind of ethnographic studies, report the one who are going to die. Say that we are going to preserve, at least at an academic level, some of the accounts of the people who are not going to be there on the map tomorrow. That's what anthropology is doing. Nothing more than that. Very disappointing. I hope I have communicated. Any other questions? Can I go for? Hanji. Sir, ma'am. I think it is a larger part of the tribe. Individual movement I don't think is possible. Maybe it is a larger group. So a considerable segment of the group. When I say Gond, within Gond, Eraj Gond. So a good number of people when they are moving. So that's where there is a fruitfulness. So you are actually trying to hit the one that is huge, massive. So a single fellow, you're not a Balakrishna, go and smash the whole thing. I know. Maybe possible. Maybe possible. చెప్పండి. మళ్ళీ Is it better to put them protected, secluded, isolated? Anthropology is confused. Anthropology is confused about it. కరిస్తే కప్ప కోపం లేదంటే ఇంకెవరికో అన్నట్టు. We are going to see this under the topic called approaches towards tribals, approaches towards tribal development. That's a safe way of saying. There are several approaches within anthropology. See, there are people who propagated this, don't disturb them. After having disturbed them, there is nothing to say that. You have already broken the isolation. You have gone deep into their geographies, deep into their cultures. You left your imprints there. And after having done everything, you propagate isolationism. There's nothing that you can do. In spite of that, there were people who said that, don't touch them, leave them alone. They were criticized by saying that, see, you are an anthropologist, you want people to study. Just because you want a subject matter to do research about, you are asking them to be left alone. They may be doing it with a lot of kind heart, but then no. This is a discipline that is highly confused. In the first 1 week of classes, we tell that this is a discipline that stands for the underprivileged. Standing for underprivileged meaning what? That's where is the confusion. Whether you take banners and fight for them, whether you write articles about them, or you make policies preserving their, these are various things. At what stage the discipline of anthropology is, that varies from nationality also. In certain nations, the discipline is doing really good. Say, if at all in India you would want to do MA, PhD in anthropology, your job opportunities may be very bleak. But go to somewhere else, every department, every private entity might be hiring an anthropologist. For us, anthropology is for UPSC. It's as simple as it is. Otherwise, who will be willing? Anji sir. మళ్ళీ చెప్పండి. ఎవరు అనలేదు, అప్లిఫ్ట్ అవుతున్నారని అనలేదు. డిసైర్ ఇస్ దట్. సుఖంగా ఉండాలని పెళ్లి చేసుకుంటావు, ఏమవుతుంది గాడ్ నోస్. ఎస్, absolute homogeneity, absolute egalitarianism doesn't exist. The moment you have reached a stage of the chiefdoms in the tribals, egalitarianism is 100% egalitarianism doesn't exist. If not anything else, the gender-based hierarchy would definitely exist. So it's like, every time this is the comparison. I have a smaller inequality, you have a bigger inequality. But then, as per our friend's question, in spite of having a lesser unequal society, I am moving towards the higher unequal society because I am a human. I would want to be in a society that is highly hierarchical. Now, sir, kya tha? Kya tha? You said something? Chapandi. Can I go?
This stratification still exists.
Be patient, be patient. Look at me, I am so patient. Tell me. फिर से बताइए. When low caste is moving to the other religion,
Don't get rid of the lower caste.
hmm.
So, are they being given a new caste hierarchy in the new religion, or do they carry the previous tag with them? If so,
I'll give you, if so,
then why will defining this continue only with respect to Hinduism? And we can see that particular stratification other.
no, it's not like that. I stand by the initial remark of M.N. Srinivas. We are talking about Hinduization because, see, we are going to have these statistics in the later classes. In chapter 8, paper 2, you have impact of other religions on tribals. There you'll get one article. Is it that all tribes are Hindus? That is the title of the article you'll get. Not. We are using this because within our geography, we have more of Hindu numbers. That's the only thing. And every mainstream religion has got its own hierarchy. Though religions like Islam and Christianity, they say that they are egalitarian, Egalitarianism is a relative word. And I come to the first part of this question. In fact, those are all the discussions to happen in the future classes, but because you are asking questions, I cannot ask you to keep quiet. So I'll have to respond at some point of time. Her question was, when they are moving to the other religions, is it that a new hierarchy is given? Previous one will continue. Is it so? It's as simple as it is, sir. I am giving examples of 2 studies. This name is known to you, Narmadeshwar Prasad. There was one his study, and then I must have also used this name Neera Borra in the class. Neera Borra of Neo-Buddhist movement. In 2 different regions, 2 different religions. I am not speaking of Hinduism. These 2 were the people. At one place it is the low caste in Kerala. In the other place, low caste, especially the Mahars of Maharashtra. Those 2 groups have chosen 2 different other religions than Hinduism. Both of them were troubled by Hinduism to different levels. In one of the regions, it was majorly one single person propagating the other religion of Buddhism. And when it comes to the low caste Kerala here, that was the missionary work. But both of them were choosing a way out, were trying to choose a way out from caste hierarchy. Narmadeshwar Prasad mentions this, that when the low caste Hindus were trying to get an accommodation in the church, churches were actually already dominated by the upper caste. So once you are going there, maybe the chief god is changing, but the people are not changing. People within the church are already organized on the caste lines. So it's like an SC Christian or a Reddy Christian or whatever Christian. So you are actually going with your tag. Many times churches are divided based on castes also. So you may not be giving a membership to some of you who are the church goers and who are running the churches as families. You must be knowing this. Occasionally, membership to particular people within a church is denied because of your belongingness to one particular caste or creed. So what is happening is, in spite of you trying to find an option out of the caste, you are not able to get it because caste is running in your blood. Is that okay? So there is no need of new hierarchy. The existing hierarchy is sufficient. And even in the case of Neera Borra's study, she mentions it very clearly. What changed with the Buddhist converts there is the number of gods. At the most, they have challenged the Brahmanical supremacy. Whatever ceremonies were there with the Brahmins as the principal people there, they tried to give them up. But see, when you are living in a society that has so many divisions, what makes it necessary is you being accepted by the others. You are a gregarian fellow. So you cannot live by yourself. Whatever you do it for the acceptance by the others. So when you are getting into the other religions, trying to convert, your identity is not simply the one you are aspiring for. It is not simply the identity you are trying to create for yourself. This identity has to be accepted by the others. Then you are successful. Am I clear to you? Inka chepandi. I'm all yours. Hit me into black and blue. I love talking without writing actually. You also, no? I know. Naughty people. Shilipi. Just imagine, many people didn't open the pen today. So once you go back to the room, you open your notes, you don't know what we have spoken in the class. 3 hours, 2 hours, what did we do in the class? God knows. We were actually trying to present certain things about tribe and caste continuum. This is that concept I bring back, whatever I intended to talk to you. It is something to explain cultural diffusion, culture contact. This is a reality that was existing even in the ancient times, in the pre-British times. And this is a concept that is still valid in today's times. In today's times, the concept is all the more valid because more and more tribes are coming into the fold of the mainstream society. Coming into the fold of mainstream society, what I might mean is they might be becoming a part of the state, that is the political entity of modern times. They might be getting into the mainstream economic fold because there are hardly any tribes left out that are not using modern money. For everybody, modern money has almost become inevitable. Sir, a religion becomes only a smaller way out. You may not be looking at particular religions for an egalitarian living kind of. That is an offbeat arrangement now. It is the conversion for the economic gains, conversion for the God, all these are not really done. You are actually having several other things in mind, what is called prosperity. You would want to get out of your cocoon in order to get into the prosperity. So I am continuing with what she was asking. Whether it is Hinduism, Christianity or whatever, we are not in a position to decide about our own isolation. Once the isolation is broken, the people who are at the helm of affairs might give you a document saying that, see, this is what is going to be your future. I want you to inform. I want you to be informed. After having informed them, their consent becomes a ritual. It's something like a voice vote and nothing more than that. So there are several other things, sir. In that document, there is a mention of animism or kya tha bhai? And totemism. So those are the two things that are seen as the defining characteristics of a tribe. We have already spoken about animism. When it comes to totemism, there are good number of caste groups that seem to be having some kind of totems. When we say that totem is a symbol indicating your ancestor or your identity in that group, several caste groups also seem to be having certain totems. There are some examples given there. Some Brahmins are considered to be having totems, Kshatriyas having totems, etc. So you see that some of the caste groups, they have their flags on the tops of their houses in particular colors and particular entities being drawn on that. So it shows that they already have something like a totem there. So when somebody says that we have to distinguish tribe based on a totem and an animistic belief system, they are insignificant ones. They are insignificant ones. If at all you will have to define them, define based on their existentialism, based on their ability to survive with those characteristics. So whatever list of characteristics such as endogamy, exogamy, or occupational hierarchy, purity, pollution, they seem to be existing in both caste and tribe, in both caste, purity, pollution also, in both caste and tribe in different levels. It's only a difference in the gradation and not more than that. So you would be concluding your answer by saying that, see, tribe is a reality. But defining tribe has been difficult. It has been difficult not now but from the beginning itself. So defining them was an academic exercise where many anthropologists actually have faced a difficulty and many times they failed to define. from that academic background, it becomes now important to see the difference of grading of people from tribe to caste and vice versa. So that kind of a continuum, that continuation, it shows that cultures are evolving. This concept actually shows that cultures are evolving. Bailey attempts at one place. See, being a diffusionist, Bailey says that we will have to show from where the culture trait had started and who has adopted it. You remember, in the German-Austrian school, they say, Ratzel and Frobenius, they say that you will have to find out from where the cultural traits have originated and where they are going. Bailey seconded that kind of a writing. He says that we will have to see from where they have come and where they are going. By doing this exercise, you will say that particular trend is whether it's a tribalization or Sanskritization. By knowing from where it is starting and where the trait is going, you are only trying to say that, see, this is tribalization, this is Sanskritization. But does it serve any purpose? You know very well that at the end of the day, Sanskritization seems to be having more benefits than tribalization. Tribalization is only a rarity. We are actually trying to see how people outside the so-called caste are trying to get amalgamated into the caste hierarchy. So this particular concept is trying to bring to us that there are no true tribes and no true castes existing. There are varying colors within. It only is an effort through which people are trying to improve their status. So when it comes to culture contact in the modern times, we are going to see various other mechanisms through which tribes are actually brought out of their habitat, brought out of their traditional living. So we are going to see there in culture contact how during the British times, during the post-British times, different mechanisms such as industrialization, mining, or infrastructure facilities, or modern education, etc., etc., legal systems, Schedule 5, Schedule 6, all these things, how they are influencing the tribal living and trying to impose culture contact. And being anthropologists, you should be able to mention somewhere there that every problem of the tribal is basically due to culture contact. It's as simple as whatever my problems are because of you. The discipline doesn't take the responsibility of the problems by itself. That is that concept. So you try presenting an answer on that. Did you see the Sunday's test? Which question is most difficult there? Last ante daniko peru untadiga. People were asking about the key to the questions. Sir, many times whatever that goes on in the class, I am presenting as a question there. It's a rarity that one odd question might be coming there. Those questions I will be discussing in the class. Okay, otherwise most of the questions that we are giving in the test are almost discussed. So today's work will be, you will back home, I am stopping there today. You will be back home watching that Chenchu video and try preparing an ethnographic profile. And sir, you had one ethnographic profile, that is Chenchu. Secondly, definition of tribe. Thirdly, tribe and caste continuum. Back home, you will prepare the ethnographic profile of Chenchu. I'll continue with caste mobility in tomorrow's class. and slowly I will sources. You will have one male topic there, number I don't remember, tribe caste continuum, male topic is there. From there you will be preparing your note. I was saying something. So I will be moving to the topic number 4 in your syllabus, that is evolution of Indian anthropology. So whatever topics that are still left out in chapter 5 and chapter 3, those we will be doing along with the thinkers, along with the evolution there. Have a good time.